Let's learn how to make brownies. Now, baking is a science, okay? So you need to make sure that the measurements are to the T, and especially with making cakes, cookies, brownies. Otherwise, if you put too less flour, it becomes very crispy. If you put too much eggs, it becomes very spongy. You want to make sure that all of the measurements are right. My measurements and the recipe will be in the caption, so please take a look there, okay? I'm going to start off with butter. I'm not saying the measurements right now. You can take a look at the captions. So make sure the butter is nice and soft. I left it out for a few hours, so it's pretty good. To this, I'm adding sugar. Now, if you don't have anything as handy as this at home, no worries, just use a hand whisker. That should be completely fine. I am a lazy boy, so I don't like to use those things. I used to, and now I'm tired of doing those things. So I have this handy little machine. I got this from Wonder Chef. You can also get them from Wonder Chef. It's very nice. There are other brands out there as well. It's up to you essentially. So I'm going to start this at a slow speed and then increase the speed gradually. So what this is going to do is essentially blend the butter and sugar together till it's nice, smooth, fluffy, and the color of the butter and sugar will actually go lighter and the volume will increase. So over time you want that to happen. You're beating the butter and sugar together. Okay, I'm going to increase it by one more. When it comes to baking, this will be your best friend because you want to scrape down the sides as much as possible. And I'm going to go to full speed. So now I'm actually scraping the sides down. You can see the butter and sugar is kind of nicely, incorporated together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add eggs to this. I'm not a baker, so while my recipes may not be at 100% foolproof, it is kind of tested. These brownies I've been making for a while. So I have my eggs here. I'm going to be adding them at 3 different parts. So the first part goes in. So if you were a baker, if I was a baker, what I would have done was I would have measured them into 3 different cups at equal parts and then, added them. But I am not. And I do this quite a lot. I eyeball it quite a bit. I know my baker friends are cursing me in the mind right now, but so I added the first part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this again and I'm going to scrape the sides so that the eggs get properly incorporated into it. Okay. Now just keep one thing in mind. If your butter is at room temperature and your eggs are cold, there's a chance that your batter may split. So you want to keep your eggs at room temperature. But even if it splits, here's a good thing you can do. Okay. Assume your batter split. Just throw it in the fridge for 5 minutes, or in the freezer actually for 5 minutes. Okay, it will harden up. Then give it another chance of the whisk. It should be completely fine. So one more batch of eggs, and we're gonna give this a whisk again. So I'm gonna scrape it one more time. And add my eggs again. And what I've done this time, my third egg is actually I threw the eggs in the freezer for in the fridge for like 10 minutes because I want to break the batter and show you how it looks. So when it breaks, I will show you what is a quick solution on how to do that, because when I started this out and when I actually broke my batter for the first time, I started panicking. I thought I had to throw it out. I thought I ruined everything. Then I just did a couple of search and turns out I just have to put this in the fridge for a bit. So I'm going to actually intentionally break this batter now. Come here, let me show you what a broken batter looks like. You see, it's quite curdled up over here. This is what a broken batter looks like. Now, if this was a proper batter, this would be fluffy, it would be triple the size, it would be almost like a meringue kind of texture. But this is a broken batter. You see, it's kind of separated quite well. So into the freezer, this goes for a few minutes and then we will fix this batter. So while the broken batter is resting in the freezer, what I'm going to do is, in a bowl, I'm going to take the maida and baking powder mix and mix it with the cocoa powder. So that, when I'm mixing it into the batter, it's evenly spread. Now, if you're going to wonder what kind of cocoa powder I use Hershey's. I think Hershey's is a good one. Cadbury is too sweet for me. Hershey's is a good balance. And if you have some other producer that you prefer, go for it. What I have here is some melted chocolate. I'm going to add some vanilla to it. And I'm going to give it a nice mix. So this method, what I'm going to show you next, it's called tempering. So to add the chocolate into the eggs, what we need to do is we need to take a scoop of this egg batter, put it into the chocolate, cool it down, mix it and put it back in there. That method is called tempering. But first I'm going to just check the temperature of my chocolate. If it's too hot, I will not do it right now. It's a little hot. I'm just going to wait for a few minutes, let it cool down a little bit. But I can't put it in the fridge or it'll harden again, so it kind of breaks the point. Just cooling should be enough. So now I'm just adding the eggs to this. The chocolate is cooled. Just gonna temper it real quick. Just a few spoons should be more than enough. Okay, and I'm gonna add this chocolate into the egg mixture itself. Now we're gonna give this a quick mix. Scrape the edges off. You want to mix it nice and properly with the chocolate. Okay, give it a slight whisk again. So remember when I told you that if it's properly done, the batter is good, chocolate's good, there'll be this fluffy, light one. So this is how the fluffy batter looks. And you know what you can do with this? It's a snack. Now to this, I'll add the flour mixture. Now at this point, if you want to add in, walnuts, chocolate chips, anything, do that. That's up to you. I'm not adding anything. I'm just making a plain brownie, because I just tend to enjoy that. I personally am not a big fan of walnuts. So just a plain brownie it is. And you want to fold it in. Remember, fold, do not be aggressive with this. You don't want to lose all the air and the fluffiness of the brownie. Give it a gentle fold so everything is nicely incorporated. Once the flour and the batter have kind of mixed within itself to a point where the batter itself will not start flying everywhere, I'm gonna put it back on the machine just at a low speed so that it mixes properly. Constantly wiping my hands because it's so sticky from all the chocolate and the eggs and the sugar. I'm a messy baker, guys. I'm sorry. Wash my hands. The batter is ready. My oven's heating at 180 degrees Celsius. What I'm gonna do is, with my tray, I'm just gonna brush it with butter everywhere so that the batter doesn't stick. And the next step is to put this batter into the tray. Okay, then the last step is to completely even this out. We want to even this out throughout the pan so that it makes a good even brownie. Now that it's evenly spread, it's going to go in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is every 10 minutes, I'm going to change the side of it. So approximately 20 minutes will take for it to bake. And we don't want this to burn, so we put this in the middle to lesser than middle shelf. Okay? And look at this. The brownies look beautiful. Before you do remove them, take a toothpick or some skewer and just poke to see that it's not wet so that it's fully baked. I have cut it up into nice squares and I'm going to pack it up and I'm going to take this to someone's housewarming.